guys, very lovely to have you once again. So today we're going to be talking on verses 19. The major topic we're going to talk about is discipleship, right? But I think we touched a little bit of it last week. So this week we're going to move on to the major thing, the key thing, right? So we're going to touch from Matthew 4 verses 19, which says, but I'm going to read 18, to give it a background. So this was right after Jesus finished preaching, by the way. So Jesus walking by the Sea of Galilee saw two brethren, Simon called Peter and Andrew his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishers. And he said unto them, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. So now, two things that we notice is two key instructions that God gives to them. Follow me, and I'll make you fishers of men. The first major thing that God was talking about was, being like me, and, which is very important, which is what everybody makes emphasis on. But the other thing that we don't really make emphasis on is the second thing he said afterwards. The follow me comes with a comma, and then the next thing that comes after it is, and I will make you fishers of men. Meaning, the importance is the fishers of men. It's very, very key that we notice that Jesus' first initial talk to the disciples were to make them fishers of men. The initial plan, the major reason was not miracles, was not, different things, was first for discipleship and second to disciple others. And you notice, so when we say the Great Commission, it seems as if, the Great Commission is a big deal. Now, I'm not even saying the Great Commission. I'm saying the reason, the key thing, the first key thing that God says, and the first key thing that God brings to light. And the first key thing that God talks about is following. And the second key thing is discipleship. So no, it's not even first about miracles, which you would even realize that when he goes out on evangelism, and he gets disciples, is saying, I'm going to make you my disciples if you would agree, and you would disciple other people. That was the major point of, the discipling of the apostles. Now, for so many people, they will say this is left for the pastors. These are left for those that are spoken on the pulpit. But you know that the apostles didn't know they were going to be apostles at the time, let alone knowing that they were going to do the miracles that God did. But they followed him because they want to learn from him. The mindset that people have is that, they already started doing this miracle, so, they are called into ministry call. By the way, everybody can do miracles. Miracles is for everybody. It's not for the people only on the pulpit. It's for everybody, as long as you're a child of God. It's a gift, it's an inheritance. It's not for the special ones. There's no special ones in this. So basically, getting back to what I was talking about, it is that they didn't know that they were going to be disciples. They were going to be apostles. They were just found after Jesus doing his evangelism, and he found disciples. Now, another key thing I'm going to talk about is that when you find disciples, before Jesus started going out on evangelism, right before that he was fasting, he was praying. Now, one thing I wanted to mention was that in as much as we're going to draw close to God, we're going to go out evangelism, you can't do that without first praying. It is your prayer that opens the heart of all those that are blinded, that are stone-hearted, that have hearts. And it is your prayers that will help them heal. It is your prayers that will help the Spirit help them. So it's very, very key that you pray. It is through these prayers that people will yield to you. That you might now from this have disciples. Again, to those of us that say that it is only meant for the disciples, in as much as they didn't even know they were going to be apostles, that's one. Two, sorry. Now, what am I saying? So there was a part in the Bible where he was talking and he was praying for the disciples, and he was praying to God that he keeps the disciples. But he also mentioned that those that will believe in Jesus. So I'm saying that the first call is to. So each time he was speaking to his apostles, it was so that we will learn from that. And by the way, we want to be like Jesus Christ. So, what am I saying? Anyways, the big picture is that we're called to follow and to disciple. That's the major reason. That was the major reason. That was one of the major reasons that God called us to be followers and to be disciples. Another thing is we all say as Christians we are called. So if we are all called, it means we are all to disciples. Because this was when Jesus was calling them. This wasn't when Jesus was appointing them to become apostles or when they became apostles. This was when Jesus was calling them. So as long as you are called, you are also to disciple others. That's like that's not even like that's the first thing that God will make mention of. Alright, so that'll be all for today. Bye. Have a very lovely day and a week ahead. See you next week.